Today, we're going to dive into a really powerful way of looking at life's challenges. It's a spiritual framework that sees purpose in our struggles, not punishment. And honestly, it might just change the way you see everything. I mean, you know that feeling, right? That sense that the universe is throwing something at you, not just randomly, but to see what you're made of, to test your patience, your strength, your character. Well, we're going to lean into that feeling today. So let's start by completely reframing this whole idea of a hardship. What if the challenges you face aren't just bad luck? What if they're actually on purpose? And even more than that, what if they're designed for your own good? At the heart of this is a concept called Sanav, which basically means the test. Now, the most important part of this idea is that these trials are not punishments. That's not the point at all. They're seen as opportunities, placed in our path specifically to help us grow. And this sets up a fascinating battle that happens inside all of us. On one side, you have the ego, our nefs. Its job is to seek comfort. It wants the easy life, no pain, just pleasure. But on the other side, you have this view of faith, which looks at that exact same struggle and sees it as the raw material for building a meaningful life. And this quote just nails it, doesn't it? That part of you that just wants everything to be simple is always fighting with the part of you that actually needs challenges to get stronger. Every single test you face is basically a wrestling match between these two mindsets. Okay, but here's where it gets really interesting. This whole idea doesn't mean we're just supposed to sit back and take whatever life throws at us. Not at all. It suggests we actually have a choice in the matter, that we can take an active role in the tests we face. And that's the big question, right? If life is just a series of tests, are we just supposed to grit our teeth and endure them? Well, according to this perspective, the answer is a huge no. There's a way to engage with this process, to actually steer it. So, how do you do that? The principle is simple but so profound. The idea is that by voluntarily choosing to help someone else with their test, by taking on their trouble, your own tests are sort of taken care of for you. It's like you're making a trade that lifts everyone up. Let me give you a real-world example of this. After the devastating Marsh earthquake, a man saw the test that others were facing. Families had lost everything. So he made a choice. He gave his own home to a victim's family, completely rent-free. He chose to take on their test. And the result? His own business, which had been going through a rough patch, suddenly started booming in ways that made no logical sense. It's like he traded his burden for theirs. So we've talked about our daily struggles, but this concept of the test scales all the way up. It goes from the little frustrations of your day to the one single ultimate test that is 100% guaranteed for every one of us: our own mortality. And it's so important to get this. Tests are not always about hardship. Sometimes the biggest tests are our blessings. Having a lot of money? That's a test of your generosity. Having a position of power? That's a test of your fairness. Our entire life, this short time we have, is the biggest test of all. This brings me to this incredibly powerful and kind of sad story. It's about an 85-year-old man, one of the richest men in his area, on his deathbed. He was so sick he couldn't even eat. And surrounded by all that wealth, what was his final piece of advice to the world? He said, "Don't do good for anyone, trust no one." His mind was so trapped by the test of money that he couldn't see anything else. He literally had everything, but in the end, it gave him absolutely no peace. And this is a reality that's been understood for centuries. A line from the Quran really cuts right to it. Nobody gets out of this alive. That wealthy man, the generous man from the earthquake, you, me, we all arrive at the same final destination. It is the great equalizer. It's the final exam. So in this way of thinking, death, or ulum, isn't game over. It's not the end. It's reframed as a transition, a doorway. It's the ultimate, guaranteed test that every single soul, every nefis, is promised to go through. It's where you find out your grade on the temporary test of life. Okay, so we've covered some pretty big ideas. But what does this all mean for you and me, on a Tuesday afternoon when things are going wrong? Well, really thinking about this, even just as a mental exercise, can completely change how you move through the world. When you start to see it this way, everything shifts. That hardship you're facing is no longer just a problem. It's an opportunity. Your generosity isn't just a nice thing to do. It becomes a powerful tool to manage your own life. You realize you have a choice in how you shape your journey. And suddenly, life stops feeling like just one random thing after another and starts to feel like a meaningful preparation. So, I want to leave you with this question to carry with you. Just think about your day today. What was the challenge? The frustration? What was your test? And now, thinking about everything we've talked about, how did you handle it? And more importantly, how might you approach the test that's coming for you tomorrow?